Deadlift, great posterior chain exercise. Two ways to do it, conventional, sumo, the ones I'm going to discuss today. Start with conventional, your feet around shoulder width apart, and toes slightly opened up a little bit. What that does is involves the adductors a little more, work the different parts of the hamstring. And then grip, just like the squat, I let the athlete choose. They can go alternating, reverse, underhand grip, whatever they're comfortable with. Alternating, I find, is a little more secure. If you go overhand, your grip will fail a little sooner. But again, I want them to be comfortable, so I let them choose. So when they address the bar, you want the bar to be just above the knuckles of the toes. And that's going to keep it close to your shin, because you don't want it to get too far away from the body. So once they're comfortable with their grip, their feet are set, they're going to sit down at the bar and tuck their lower back, so you don't want to have that arch in your lower back. And what you're going to feel is a little bit of tension in the hamstrings and the glutes. And that just helps to ensure you initiate the movement with the correct part. You don't pull up with your upper body, you're really powering up with your legs, and you can feel that tension already in the hamstrings and the glutes. That's a good way to know it. A lot of people are trained to look up when they're doing a deadlift or a squat, and what that basically does is put a little stress on the neck that you really don't need. So I like to tell my athletes, keep your head in a neutral position. If you want to have your eyes up, that's fine, because that way it leads you up that way. But to bring your head up kind of takes your spine out of that correct neutral position. And then just like every other lift, you want to take that big area and keep that core tight. When you've done that, you're squeezing your core. I like to tell my athletes to drive the floor away. If they think about pulling too much, they bring their upper body up too soon, and you're going to hurt your lower back, get a lot of stress in the lower back. Whereas if you push the floor away, they tend to stand up a little more naturally. So always through the heel or the midfoot, never through the toes, and you're pushing the floor away from you. And then you're going to drive up until your hips are fully extended at the top. And as far as bringing the bar back down to the starting position, there are a couple of ways. Either you can control it down, so you ride the bar down, you're just holding onto the bar as opposed to just dropping it. The only time I really have my athletes drop the bar back to the starting position is if we're in season and you want to avoid that eccentric muscular damage, because you're basically doing an RDL by controlling it back down. So in that situation, I would have them drop the bar, but other than that, you can just ride the bar down to the starting position. And then the second way of doing the deadlift is the sumo. And the main difference between that and conventional is your feet are much, much farther apart, almost to the edges of the wood on a platform, lifting platform. So it's significantly farther apart than the conventional method. And that's really involving a lot more of those adductors, which obviously building more muscle, the groin, the hamstrings, it's going to benefit them out on the field a lot more. So I actually prefer this method to the conventional, to be honest. So with that wider stance, your grip is going to be inside your legs as opposed to outside with conventional. And again, grip, I'm not really too fussed with it when I'm teaching this lift. It's whatever they're comfortable with. Later on down the road, you can alter that, but for now, I just like it to be comfortable. Another thing with the sumo is when you're sitting down, your back is in a slightly more upright position. And that takes a lot of stress off the lower back, which again, like with the squat, when you're out practicing a whole lot in the field and you're in the weight room a bunch, any stress that we can take off that lower back, I like to take advantage of. Other than that, everything else is the same. There's a little more focus on pushing your knees out on the way up. But other than that, it's very much the same, pushing the floor away from you through your heels and midfoot, hips extended at the top, and then control it back down. So that's the deadlift. We're going to have Wes from the men's soccer team demonstrate a few deadlifts. Right, so we've got Wes here addressing the bar, his feet around shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly out, hands outside the legs in an alternating grip, again, whatever the athlete is comfortable with. And then he's going to sit down slightly with an arched back. You don't want to round your back, you can see a lot of people doing. Right, just like that. I'm going to sit down in it. Arch that lower back, head in a neutral position with your eyes up. You're going to take that deep breath in, and then you're going to push the floor away through your heels. Hips fully extended at the top, chest up, and then just ride the bar down, control it down, start position. Driving the floor away through your heels, good. Control it down, drive through the heels, hips fully extended, and control it down. Alright, so the sumo deadlift, feet are much farther apart, involving the adductors more. Hands are inside the legs this time, alternating grip or whatever the athlete is comfortable with. And then from the side, you're going to sit down in there, perfect right there, Wes. The back is in a more upright position, which takes a lot of the stress off the back, which just like the squat, I definitely prefer that. And then you're going to drive up through your heels, pushing the floor away. Hips fully extended at the top, and then ride it down, control it down. Let's see one more. And back down. Good.